Alright, Diablo 4 players, all of the brand new, leaked, new legendary aspects. Let's check out what these brand new ones do. And we're going to go ahead and kick it off with the general one, which means every single class can use these. Keep in mind, this is part of a data mine / leak. Things are subject to change. So for starters, as far as general, this means any class can use these. This is what we're looking at. So we got the aspect of creeping death, so you can deal some sort of increased damage over time to enemies for each different crowd control effect they are afflicted by. What? That is insane. Up to 20? Dude, if you apply like 5, that's 100x damage. Dude, this damage is going crazy in Diablo. We're reaching Diablo 3 numbers easily now. And then unstoppable enemies and staggered bosses take 40x increased damage over time from you instead. Oh. Okay, well, I mean, like, this is still, like, useful, but, like, this is, like, 100x. Like, this over here, it's still good. It's still usable, since, like, every single rogue build now plays, like, Retribution, maybe even Noxiousized for the dot builds, but still a pretty good effect overall. Now, I'm curious to know if this will work when other things apply some sort of damage over time, like, or other crowd control effects, I'm assuming from your teammates, or is it only the ones that you actually apply? We'll wait and see. But nonetheless, that's actually a pretty good item, as far as the aspect. Next, legendary aspect over here, aspect of inevitable fate. So when an enemy falls below 35% life while affected by with any of your damage over time effects, an explosion occurs every 7 seconds, dealing some sort of amount of damage. Okay, so I'm wondering if you already pretty much reached that, you could just like walk away and the boss will just kind of auto pop. Very interesting mechanic, because in the pit, there are more mechanics as you push further down the line, so this could be something that to kind of help out with that as well. But, I mean, you're only active on this, like, damage once it's considered injured. But I don't know if people will use this. Let me know your guys' thoughts on it. Obviously, this matters for the damage. I'm not sure how this number scales, but if it's, like, good, then it could be interesting, especially if you run it with the brand new rogue thing with the decoy totem. I don't know how the decoy totem registers as HP, but that could actually be pretty busted with it. If you can have two of these popping for some set amount of damage, which also overlap on top of each other. Man, I'm so excited to play rogue with the decoy totem. This seems maybe potentially super powerful with that. Next up, though, aspect of the sly steps. So when you would accumulate 50% of your maximum life loss, you automatically cast an equipped defensive, subterfuge, or macabre skill before receiving damage. It can only occur once every 30. That's where you got me, like, disappointed. So, you could throw the amulet, and then, like, let's say it's like a, 50% bonus. What is that? Still, it's going to be, what is that, like 20? I think that'd be 20 seconds, right? Every 20 seconds, you can get another defensive skill. Even with things like, what is it, the Yen's Blessing, which I think is a pretty, like, okay item. I'm not sure if people will play. I think that the cooldown is way too long on it, especially even if you're going to use up an amulet slot for this. Maybe if the time was cut in half, I would maybe consider it, because let's say every 10 seconds you get one. I think I could consider it, but it could help out with one-shots, but there's the brand new gloves that can help out with that anyways, and then you're not giving up your amulet slot if you really want that fast cooldown. Next up, we have the aspect of the Dark Dance. So this is every 5 seconds. Your next core skill costs life instead of primary resource. Oh, that's good. Will only occur if you have at least 60% of your maximum life. And then skills that consume life deal 80x. Ooh, that's a big number. Now, the downside that I see with this already, like, if this number, like, right, is just like, it's a low number anyway. So let's say it only costs 200. 200 life is like nothing, right? The main problem that I see is every 5 seconds. That automatically makes it, like, really bad, because most people will attack at least, like, 1.5 times per second, which means that, well, you would take this number and you get, like, less. You wouldn't even divide it by 5, because most people attack over once per second. So unless you're doing some sort of one-shot, weird, kind of cheeky build, I'd say this is a skip. Even though it could give you some good numbers every 5 seconds, again, it's just delete this line of text, and then we're looking good. Or every 1 second, okay, all right, and yeah, every 1 second, because usually people can get to, like, if we really min-max in a lot of builds, we can get up to like 2 attacks per second, right? So at that point, you would look at like 40x, and remember, you're still consuming life. You know what? Scratch that. This is an item terrible. This number needs to be tweaked. If we're looking at 1 to 2 seconds, maybe. But for the most part, yeah, it's going to be a skip for me, man. Maybe with combo points, you can kind of build it up. 3 seconds. 3 seconds is where, like, I think that it would be good in the base. And then anything past that, like, in terms of faster, it'd be maybe usable. Okay, anyways, next aspect of the Prudent Heart. After being damaged for at least 20% of your maximum life, you can become immune for 2 to 4 seconds. Can only occur once every 20 seconds. All right, so I guess if you throw this amulet, again, I'm trying to look in the min-max, 6 seconds. This is a little bit better, but again, I think the gloves are just arguably better. Like, having these, like, really long cooldowns, well, it can help out for some of the bosses, especially with some of the, like, the uber bosses. You may just build up too many stacks to the point where you're just getting wrecked anyways, and the cooldown's just too long. But it has a little bit of use, especially if you're playing a hardcore. All these defensive things are great. Next up, though, we have Stick Through aspect. So you gain a bunch of thorns while channeling and for 3 seconds afterward. Huh, okay. So do I only have to tag channeling once while channeling? So like I could just channel, move, channel, move, channel, move. It's got some potential. I don't know if you do like Thorns, Whirlwind, or like, because obviously Necromancer, what is it, Decompose? Like, no. I don't know if you would play like, Incinerate? Would you use that on a Sorc? Like, you just sit there, just burn stuff? I don't know. Interesting. It may see some play. I mean, this is a huge amount of thorns, for sure. And then we have Wild Bolt aspect. So it's every 2 to 3.5 seconds, distance enemies are pulled in, and you take 10x increased damage. Wait. Oh, you take. So you take more damage. Oh, okay. I like this. Now, if we get 50% bonus on this, what is that? Like, is that like 1 second? 1.5? I mean, if we could just keep on sucking up enemies, man. I mean, I don't know if this will keep on stacking. I mean, this is 3 seconds and then it's every 2. So maybe you could have it on you twice. I don't know. But if this has no, like, cooldown, really. I mean, it's every, like, 2 seconds, just sucking all of the enemies. Does only suck on one random one. I mean, this has so much potential for like crazy godly clear speeds. I mean, imagine like a Whirlwind Barb that already has the brand new buffed sucked aspect, right? I think it's like triple the amount. And then you also run this. You're just sucking the whole map up, man. I think that this is going to be awesome. But I think that I already see this getting nerfed, though. They're going to make the cooldown too long, and then no one's going to want to play it. But I think it's cool, man. This is going to be one of the top tier things to play for speed. This is awesome. They are really making Diablo 4 so much more fun. Alright, so now those are for all the classes. Now we're getting into the niche ones. So Barbarian gets Anger Management. While above 40 to 55 Fury, you are Berserk, but you lose Fury per second. Wonder how that's going to work with Tusk Helm. But nonetheless, this is actually a really, really good thing. Losing the Fury per second doesn't even really matter. You can run Ramelandis, and you can just run like Fury per second. It doesn't really hurt the build too bad at all. And then on top of that, being able to be 100% Berserk is a really big thing. If any of you guys have played the Whirlwind Barb, if you don't have your shouts up, and specifically like the good stats on cooldown reduction to be like high rolled, that build like kind of suffers. But if you're just up Berserk the whole time, that's great. Really wish this was a utility versus offensive, but I still think it's great because I think you run the other one where it increases like the Berserk, so you can just swap that one off on one of the things, which technically is utility, but you'll have to move things around. Next up, we have Forward Momentum. Knocking back an enemy grants you increased movement speed. I think that might be just kind of a skip. I'm trying to think of what like consistently can knock back. I mean, maybe Wind Force will get that buff it needs, and then we can run this. But overall, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. Aspect of the Fortress: for every 10% life you're missing, you gain extra DR. Oh, this is like what is it? Is it called Lornell's ring? It's a ring in it's from the Necromancer in Diablo 3, right? Really, really good stuff. I like it. Pretty awesome stuff. I mean, if you, I wonder if you can go back to like low life and you just become immortal, because you would have like insane amounts of damage reduction. I'm getting like 45 DR. This is pretty big, right? Anyways, next up with Executioners, killing an enemy with an overpower leaves behind an earthquake at their location, dealing some sort of amount of damage every 4 seconds. Can only occur once every 4 seconds. So this is like a much better design for like the cooldown, right? So it only occurs once every 4 seconds, but you still have it up 100% of the time. So as far as like killing an enemy with an overpower, unless like the boss is spawning in small things, a lot of this stuff in general with Diablo, just to give like some constructive feedback, I really feel like the bosses just become a problem with this, like, oh, if you kill an enemy, energy on kill, or like a lot of these things just don't work against the bosses, and then a lot of people just don't want to run them, right? Or it like only works against, staggered or whatever enemies. So, unfortunately, unless, again, you're spawning in things, I don't know if people will run it with the Earthquake, like Leap Thorns Barb is one thing I could think of that was actually like not bad, that could maybe use this. Next up, though, we got the Druid. So the Druid's getting aspect of the Rushing Winds. Casting a companion skill gives you a bunch of movement speed, and it goes up to 45. Wow. I mean, if you just cast all three, man, you're going to be zipping across the map, and especially because, again, you throw in an amulet, what is that, whatever half 45 is, what is that, 23, so you're looking at, like, 60-something plus percent movement speed, and just roll movement speed on your boots, and you're at max. Moonrage aspect, kills have a 5% chance to summon a wolf companion to fight for your side. For duration, this effect is a lucky hit against bosses. Oh, that's actually pretty cool. See, this is what we needed. Maximum. Oh, see, you ruined it right there with the last line. I was like, dude, I want to build a wolf army, and then it's like, oh, you get 3 additional wolves. Dang. Well, you at least get 3 ranks to wolves, so maybe we can make a pet build. I'm actually kind of excited to try this out. I don't know why they left this out of all the giant patch notes from the campfire. Like, I'm still glad we're getting newer items, though, but, like, they should have just included it. Anyways, rejuvenating aspect, when falling below 20%, or 20 spirit, there's a chance to fully restore your spirit. I don't know about that one. There's already a lot of spirit regen that you can just roll on your gear. Spirit bond aspect, 10 to 17% of the damage you would take is redirected across your companions. Oh! Well, since your companions cannot die, that's actually a pretty nice thing to have, especially with shepherds. That's just 17% DR. I like that. That's really great. Now, I'm wondering if it, like, divides it up per companion. Probably not. But it's probably just 17 DR. If it does it across every single minion, you just take no damage. So, yeah, it's probably individual. All right, next up, the Necromancer. What is Necromancer getting? Gain 20 to 35% evade cooldown reduction. You can now evade during Blood Mist, traveling twice as far. Oh, we actually did see that one. That one is something that got revealed already. Aspect of the Cursed Aura. You automatically curse enemies around you with Decrepifying Iron Maiden. Oh! Automatic! That's what I'm talking about! Curses inflicted this way spread to surrounding targets every 0 to 2 seconds and last 4 seconds outside of the aura. Wow. That is so awesome. Double things. And isn't that, what is that? The Blood Moon Breaches, right? Or the pants where you get like crazy damage against the curse targets, right? But, check this out. We have your minions gain a chance to curse, but if enemies affected by at least one of your curses, they take 70 increased overpower, which could be utilized for certain other builds, so I still like this, even though it's just overpower. You can actually get 100% overpower with specifically the Spirit, Bone Spirit, and then you can just keep on having this, like, crazy damage. And I believe this is going and getting a buff to 100x as well in the most recent, next for Season 5. So, 100x damage is always welcome, and remember, it's a utility, so it's not going to clog up your, like, weapons damage and stuff like that in terms of, like, the slot that it goes in. I think it's excellent for sure. Especially because it's automatic, it's great. Next up, the aspect of the Great Feast. Your minions get increased damage, but each one drains 1 essence from you per second. If you have no active minions, the damage increase applies to you instead, and you lose 7 essence per second. I mean, just get a greater affix essence per second on your chest piece, and you'll be good to go. I think this is really, really cool. Awesome stuff indeed. I like where this is going. So minions actually aren't even going to be really getting like that bad of a nerf, especially if you look at the shadow. But remember, you're gonna have to replace that one like crazy, like the shadow damage one. Next up, we have the aspect of the Unholy Tether. So casting Golem's active skill creates a bond between you. Oh, this one's, they already revealed this one. This one's not like a leak here, but you get extra increased movement speed. And Frozen Spirit's aspect, when Bone Spirit explodes inside a Bone Prism, it explodes additional time. This could be pretty good. Throw out a 2-hander, you get 140% of the damage. Then Bone Spirit prioritizes the enemies. This one's, I think, also revealed. Sever being a mobility skill. I already mentioned that, like, unfortunately, because it has a cooldown, I don't think it's that exciting. You can't make it like a brand new like way to play, but at least it gives them a mobility skill. But again, it's a pretty long cooldown. Maybe throw in an amulet and you get a little bit better stats, but that's a pretty big investment. But who knows? Maybe it'll actually be really good. But again, yeah, I just think the cooldown's simply too long to make it viable. Shade Mist aspect, your minions deal 38 shadow damage per second to enemies around them. The damage over time lasts for seconds after leaving the aura. Okay. Now, it depends on how big this number gets, but I actually see this potentially being one of the new better shadow builds. And what I think is even crazier is, remember how we got that nerf to the shadow, like, damage over, like, it's one of the key passes where it's like you hit them 10 times. That got reduced to 8. And then, if they just deal that amount of damage per second, if I have enough minions, I mean, that's going to be up 100% of the time. Then the nerf isn't even that bad. I don't know why they even like nerf it in the first place with these sort of things when they give us some other thing that's brand new that makes it so much better. Anyway, so I don't even think minions are going to be that bad, because originally when I made my video, I was like, man, Necromancer not looking too hot the next season, and then they come out with all these fire things, man. It's crazy. All right, Rogue. Let's check out what the Rogue's getting. So we have Smoke Grenade has a chance to create an arrow storm where it explodes, dealing some sort of damage, and our arrow storms apply vulnerability. So instead of running, let's say, the a Curse Touch. Maybe this could be something you could consider if you can fit this in your build, because this is just applies 100%, not like a lucky hit chance, you know. Anyways, next up we have the Nebulous Bruise. Using a healing potion grants extra movement speed, and after moving a certain duration or set amount, it's 30 meters, you get to spawn a healing potion. Aspect of True Sight, you deal 100% increased critical strike damage to enemies marked by inner sight. Ooh. That, I mean, 100x, this, you know what this is, guys? This is literally Grandfather, 100x. So if you're running Precision, you have to, it's a now must-in slot. Like, that is crazy. Yeah, I think this is a pretty huge difference. Next up, Flurry deals increased damage and has a 20% chance to stun enemies for 3 seconds on each hit. You mix this up with Retribution, you're looking pretty good. I like this, and hopefully it will be the, well, let's see. I'm not sure how this is really, like, registering. Yeah, I'll have to, like, look at this, like, in terms of what's the damage, because there's no way that the max roll is 0.3. Like, there's no way. If that's it. That's memes. It does have that chance to stun, but it's not lucky hit, which is good, because the lucky hit is kind of low on Flurry anyways, although you get 4 hits with it. But yeah, if this number is good, I'm hoping that Flurry will actually be good. Yeah, Flurry's been basically bottom tier for the entirety of, like, the game's launch. Next up, we have Clanenstein Aspect, which gains 1 to 3 agility skills and subterfuge skills. Okay, that's, like, potentially good. Fortunately, it's on the offensive slot. Should have been in a utility. But maybe we can finally run that Shadow Step build. Hopefully. I don't know if it'll be viable enough. I always wanted to make a Shadow Step build. There is one aspect, I forgot what it was called, but, like, it gives you another charge, and when you kill someone with it, you get to, like, refresh the charge. It's been one of my, like, favorite things that I really want them to implement in the game, and maybe we can finally do it. Next up, our basic skills are always... Ooh, oh my gosh! What? This is insane! And you basically get controlled right there. Holy... Basic skills are always cold imbued. That is so massive. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm really excited about Rogue now. This is crazy good. I know people that are playing Andariels are going to be so excited about all of this stuff. This is so good. Now we're going to definitely, we're going to make a build around this. It's too good. Next up, we have Galvanized Slashers Aspect. Because remember, there's, like, stuff where, like, you can just... I think it's, like, you can instantly have a chance to apply vulnerability. There's a chance for a giant multiplier. You get another 40x. I think you get 40x on top of another 20x here. And then with control, I mean, you're just going to be going to the moon with damage. Cold Rogue is going to be really, really good. But remember, that's only basic skills. But again, basic skills are a viable option to play, especially with Victimize. Well, you get more damage on the base damage. And then, because then the Victimize damage would proc, I'm hoping that it would still work in that sense where you get to kind of double dip, if that makes any sense, because it's based off of the damage that you deal. And if you're hitting a enemy with a cold imbued skill, you get like 40x damage, I believe is what it is. And especially because you can just build up staggers so fast with Heartseeker. Oh my gosh, this is going to be crazy good. Alright, anyways, Galvanized Slashers Aspect. Damaging an enemy with a mobility skill has a chance to fully restore your energy. Ooh, it's a mobility skill, but those skills don't use energy. Your maximum energy is increased by up to 25. Okay, I could see some maybe potential with this thing. And the reason why is if you run Bannersword's Talisman, I mean, it is lucky hit. But the thing is that Shadow Step actually has 100% lucky hit. Now, unfortunately, even if you threw this in an amulet and you got like 45, it's just a 45% chance to restore it. But then you can maybe run Dash, and then you can run Ultimate, because the Ultimate resets your cooldowns on things for, like, let's say Banished Lord's Talisman, Beastfall Boots. You could actually maybe run like an Infinite Ultimate build with Rogue, which actually kind of makes me interested in checking out that as well. Alright, next up we have Mirrored Sharpshooter's Aspect. Caltrops is now Marksman skill that also throws up to 20 piercing daggers over its duration, each dealing 15 shadow damage, and applies vulnerability for 3 seconds. Okay, so I'm curious to see how this goes. I mean, this damage, obviously it's going to do more than 15 damage. If it does 15 damage, no one's going to want it. It does apply vulnerability, which is quite good. Now, you just have to play Caltrops on every single build anyways, but we'll have to wait and see if this damage is good, because if I'm able to just get, you know, this is 20 times whatever this is, and we just scale a bunch of, like, the flat damage with, like, close quarters. Maybe this could be an option. Okay, Sorcerer. I am begging, because every single class looks absolutely amazing now. But the Sorceress, I was really disappointed with what they showed off in terms of, like, the thing on the blog post. So hopefully, Sorcerer is going to be a bunch better. So next up, we have Elemental Acuity, casting up Pyromancy, Shock, or Frost skills increases your mana regen for 5 seconds once per element. So I guess that would be up to 60x regen, and then at maximum stacks, the bonus is increased to 120, so you get double of that for 10 seconds, but all stacks expire after. Okay. I mean, it's just trying to encourage you to kind of spam all the things with, like, Vital Rasha, but remember, this is just regen, but the new Conduit, as the Axiom Conduit pants, they really require a lot of resource. Next up, then we have the aspect of the Tenuous Agility, which makes so you gain some movement speed, and it's doubled if you haven't used a defensive skill in the last 8 seconds, so 30% increased movement speed. Cool for town, but you can already run Boots of Slaughter and get a bunch of movement speed anyways in town, and I like that thing. Next up, though, we have the aspect of the Firebird, so you gain the Flame Shield enchantment for free, which makes it... That thing actually already got nerfed anyways, so I don't think people really even play that anymore. So when Flame Shield activates, meteorites fall around you, dealing some sort of damage. Now, unfortunately, they are also nerfing the Flame Shield, because when you activate it, well, how it works is... it doesn't start its cooldown until it actually ends, so you won't be getting this, like, very often, I would say. I mean, every once in a while, you can summon a meteorite. I haven't really seen anyone play, like, Starfall Corona. I haven't seen any meteor builds in Season 4 for the most part. Next up, though, we have the aspect of the Orange Herald, so Lucky Hit, up to a 10% chance to reduce the cooldown of your ultimate skill by 2 seconds. Can only happen once per skill cast. Okay, that's really not too bad. If the ultimates were actually good. Like, I'm trying to think of what ultimate do you actually even play on the Sorceress other than, like, Unstable Currents. So, this could be actually not too bad for specifically running, like, Chain Lightning, and then you could have... Yeah, I could see this actually being pretty good with Unstable Currents, but Unstable Currents is... It itself gives you extra attack speed, which breaks the attack speed cap, because you can go over 100% with it. So that's a nice benefit. And it is in the, like, it's in, like, a utility slot. So I think that this is actually quite good for lightning builds. But as far as, like, Inferno, as well as, like, the Cold one, no one runs those, as far as I'm aware of. I liked the Snake one, because it was kind of cool in the earlier stages of the game, but to be real, nowadays, the ultimates just simply don't do enough damage. And still, like, again, Unstable Currents is only good because of the attack speed that you get, and then it spams your other skills. Anyways, next up, Firestarter aspect. When newly burning an enemy, you get to deal increased fire damage to them. This is treated as a pyromancy skill. Okay, so if this number is actually good, again, some of these numbers are really hard to check if they're good because this is Datamined stuff. If this damage is good, Sorceress actually has potential, but other than that, I haven't seen anything that's just like, oh my gosh, invest in a Sorceress. Okay, but let's check out the rest. Every 1 to 3 seconds, you zap a nearby enemy for lightning damage. Okay, so this is just free instant damage. Now, I wonder if this procs, because it says this effect is treated as a shock skill, this could be actually pretty good to activate everything automatically. But it is an offensive aspect. But again, if these numbers actually are good, every 1 second you get a zap. And also this is when newly burning an enemy. So I don't know if that would work when you apply burn again. We'll have to wait and see. But I mean, every 1 second being able to do some damage could be good. Because if it counts as a shock skill, again, that works with Unstable Currents, right? Wouldn't that activate another thing? If it's treated as you casting it, I don't know, we'll see. Lightning Rod aspect, so Chain Lightning has a chance to chain to additional time when hitting bosses or crowd control enemies and prefers them as targets. Just 1 additional time, is that good enough? But you get a bunch anyways. I think you just would rather get more damage. But next up, when you freeze an enemy, you deal some sort of cold damage to them. Okay, so the cold one is actually double, pretty much, of the fire one. But that's only when you freeze an enemy. So this means against bosses, I mean, these... I don't know, I think Jolting might be like the better choice because every 1 second you just gotta keep on zapping them. But we'll see. Again, it comes down to, dang, you could even throw this on an amulet too and have it like, what, maybe every like 0.7 or 0.5 seconds, you gotta just keep on doing damage. Again, if these numbers are good, I think that this could be maybe something to invest into. Okay, that's it for the sword. Ooh, okay, so as far as it goes to do, actually, we don't even need to recap. This video is like 20 minutes long. What are you guys most excited about? For me, I mean, I'm excited about literally everything, and I mean literally everything except for the Sorceress. Unless these numbers are good, I just don't see myself enjoying Sorceress. But like you guys know, I always make every single class max them out to level 100. I'll let you guys know which ones are good. But which one has your eyes, peeled to? Let me know down below. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like. So if you're new, because we got some more stuff coming out very soon for other leaks in Diablo 4. I'll catch you guys in the next one, man. Season 5 is looking amazing.